Welcome to Trading Lounge, European indices. We cover the DAX, the FTSE and the AEX, and well, we've broken lower and we're on track here. We're looking at intermediate wave 3 over here, an A and a B and a C wave here for wave A, and then a triangle pattern in here like this for wave B. And then we're looking 5 waves down into the 11,500, probably a tad lower than that. This particular trend line here, going from the low to 1 to 2 here, when we look at Elliott Wave as such, we look at a trend line moving up here. We would look at wave 1 and 2 here, nice strong third wave here, and then wave 4 always tends to break the trend line before moving higher here. So this trend line, I would expect it to be broken in due course. Yeah, we're looking at this move down here, and we'll be looking for that in 5 waves. So if I can move over to the 4-hour chart here, we'll be looking at it like this here. There will be alternative counts, but they will also be to the downside as well, in line with the S&P 500. So this count here is in line with the S&P 500 in that we look at wave B top being in here in the triangle situation, down for 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 here for wave 1, and ABC back for wave 2, and then wave 3, 4 and 5 moving down here further. So that's pretty much the general sort of trend and direction. We can go in and work this out a little bit further in here into the hourly chart here. So let me just get this into the picture frame. So wave 1, ABC for wave 2 here, then wave 1. This is a little bit sort of complicated within this structure here, and it's also possible to have wave 1 here and wave 2 over in this space here. So I'm not quite sure, so I'm just going to leave them a little bit to the side and loose there for the time being until I've got time to look at some other markets to try and sort of bring them all together a little bit. And yeah, so in this next section, moving down here into wave 3 here, we can look at this as wave 1 and 2 into here, and then 5 waves in here for the 3rd and the 4th and the 5th. So we're looking also in here for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So we can come down a little bit further through here. But the main point here is that you need to keep in mind is that all of these 2 wave 4s here before moving down lower into here for this A, B and C wave, probably here, if I can just pull these into line here. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit sort of tricky for traders. I think that what we can do is we can we look to go short in this zone here, so we can bring our stop down in here. But this little wave, this little rally, well, starting with this one here, and then this one here. This is the first wave 4. Okay, so what tends to happen with all the wave 4s, they'll all stay roughly in the same place, which is normally the 38.2% retracement level. So realistically, if we want to get down here a little bit further to the 11.9 or the 11.8 here, we're going to have to leave the stop out of the way. Okay, we know that 12,000 is going to be a place where this market is going to basically, it's going to be a magnet really for traders' minds, which converts into volume. So this is really where it's all going to be played out to here for quite some time until this moves down into wave 3 here. And as I mentioned, this is pretty much the same for the US market, so it's going to be pretty similar. There's another way to count this as well, which is, maybe I'll go to a 2-hour chart to explain that. But I think for the time being, the main point is to work out what you'd like to do. So you can see that in here, it's going to be quite choppy in this zone here for a while. So you either keep the stop out of take some profit, take no profit. It's always good to take some profit at a large number. And what that does as well is if you take some profit in this space here, when we get these other wave 4s here, you can, and we can confirm that they're actually corrections, then you can add back in and take the next little legs down, so to speak. But keeping the stop out of the way and trading less, so you don't have to sort of worry too much about things. You can hold small losses while this plays out. We're certainly in a third wave here, so this trends have a beginning, a middle, and end, and the middle would be well, right where this little bar is in through here. This would be the middle of the trend. So you could sort of say that if that's the middle of the trend there, then this is one side of it here, and then coming back up to this top area here roughly, and then this would be, if I copy that and put this to the other side here, then this would roughly be the other side here. Of course, things can extend and shrink up and gather around large numbers and so on, but that's kind of what we're looking at. So yeah, so in terms of a different count, I'll just go to wave 2 here, if I got anything here, just 2-hour chart. The other way to count this, I don't think it's the case, but we do need to bear it in mind. So we know that, so I'll just take this one here. This will be our B wave top here. The other way to count this logically is that we have wave 1 here, wave 2 here, wave 3 still needs to play out here, then a wave 4, and then a wave 5 down through to here, and finishing here as the wave C here. Now, we'll bear this in mind, and we will look at this in various ways, but the thing here is that this count wouldn't be in line with the S&P 500. Not that that's the end of the world, of course, so we will be tracking this particular structure here as well. There's also, just to chuck a spanner in the works, there is the larger triangle pattern too that would be on our charts on our website. So but as it stands at the moment, that first count that I've mentioned is the one that we should be going with, and basically from this high here is we need to keep all the stops above that if you want to get down further through here. And it's a good idea, always a good idea, to take money at a whole number and then look to feed back into it if you've got the time, of course. Okay, moving on to the Netherlands here, which will be roughly the same. So we've looked at this B wave here in slightly different ways as well. We've looked at it as a triangle pattern, as a triangle pattern, same with the DAX, or we've looked at it in terms of an A and a B and a C wave up here in terms of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, or 4 to here and 5 up to here. So it fits quite well as well. So let's go in and have a look at this on the 4-hour chart here. So in this case here, I've got the triangle pattern occurring here, and this pattern would be the same as the US indices, so we'd have wave 1 and 2 here, nice third wave here. We still need the 4th and the 5th here, then an A and a B and a C pulling back up 50-60%, and then down for the third, fourth and fifth coming into this space here. So just on the hourly chart here, I've got it slightly different. I've got it as wave B here as well, 1 and 2 and 3, ABC for the fourth and up for the fifth here, because I do have 5 waves in this last movement here, and it hasn't taken out the top here, but that's okay. This is a smaller market. It'll be pushed around by the DAX, but it still doesn't matter. We're still left where we are with this, and in this case here we're looking at wave 1 and 2 here, all of wave 3 here, 4 and 5 to finish this off, come back into this space before this is where the supply is through here. But once we've got this low in here, then we can look at this say at the 520 mark here, the 50-60% retracement level at 530 area here, but we'll get to that once we've got this low in here, but do expect to bounce off the 520. Right, the FTSE. I don't put a lot of detail into the FTSE, as I think most people trade the DAX, but if you do trade this and then you're quite keen on it, do flick me an email at peter@tradinglounge.com, because I could put a bit more work and detail into it if you like, but I need a handful of people at least that are sort of interested in it. I mean, I like doing it to a point because it's very much in line with the Australian market. Okay, there's a strong relationship between those, so it does help me sort of consider both of them. So at this stage here, I'm looking at this as wave B up here, wave 1 moving down here, which we can put wave 1 over here as well, which would be better. Control save. So wave 1, wave 2, and then we're coming down into a really long third wave here, so we can move that out of the way, and yeah, so we're still looking lower in this instance here. We've got short trades from this point, we've got short trades from this point here, so we can bring our stop loss into sort of break even now above the 7,000. I know that's a long way away and most people are sort of short-term traders, but you know, I need to, scalping's one thing and I can't be there to help you with that, but just for the trend's sake, this is the way to go here. We can expect some support coming in at nice whole number here, 6,900, which we're seeing. Once again here, this little rally that's come up into this space here is going to be a critical point here. Okay, I want to keep the stop out of the way, but that is a little wave 4 in here, so all these other wave 4s are going to come back into that space there as well. So we need to just to put those into perspective here. There's 3 of them there. Okay, so we need, whatever happens, we just keep the stop above that, stop above the 7,000. We've locked in a bit of profit. That's fine. You can play within all of that, but we need to get the first decent bounce to see where we are with this market. But certainly still looking down. This trend is not finished. I suppose there's a way of looking at it in line with the other markets, or some of the other markets, in that we could call this as wave 1 here, wave 2 here, wave 3 to here, wave 4 to here, and then wave 5 coming down here a little bit lower. But the problem with this, it's really starting to make this wave 3 here quite short. It is about the same size as this one here in length, so it's possible to count it as wave 3, but it still gives us a very small wave 4 here. But that's kind of okay too, because wave 2 was quite complicated. One of these is going to be complicated, one's going to be simple. But I think because of the speed of this is what we're looking at here at the moment, we will look at the current move here, and we'll keep the stop above the 7,000 unless I can see something else playing out at this stage. But we need to stay, in terms of making money and staying with the trend, we need to stay with the trend, so to the downside. Yeah, okay, I'll leave it at that. Cheers.